You know what time it is! You know what time it is! E-S-T-L-E-S-T-L!
And you know what underdogs is? It's a hungry dog.
And the second stick away, and the Eagles are alive! Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you! Let the celebration begin!
All right, everyone, and welcome to episode 62 of Winging It. Guys, it is Thursday night, and we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We got the Philadelphia Phillies going on during this podcast. We may be doing a little bit of scoreboard watching, so we're going to give it over to Andrew just in case something big happens, another Bryce Harper stare down or something like that. But, guys, I want to introduce our guests for today. If you're a Philly sports fan, then you definitely know who our guest is. You've seen his content. You shared his tweets. You tailgated with him before in the cleanest Mitchell and Ness gear you'll ever see. I want everyone to give it up for our friend, E-Rock.
Yo. Thank you guys so much for having me. Birds are undefeated. They're going to remain undefeated after this weekend, and the Phils are on right now. I think we're all doing it. Does everybody got it in the background? Can we just get that out of the way? Does everybody got it on in the background?
We got a little bit in the background. We actually made a joke in our group chat today that you're going to lay down some like really heavy news for us about something that's happened in your personal, and then we're going to see Andrew in the back go, yeah! You know?
Look,
Guys, my dog just died. Yeah!
Grand Slam!
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I feel like I had the. I love the powder blues, and Alex, I think you posted earlier today. We were trying to see what people like more out of the powder blues or the Kelly green. I gotta say, I'm sorry, but I do. There's something about the maroon and powder blue that's just so chef's kiss. But what was the outcome of that poll from earlier?
Well, I want to hear what E-Rock has to say first. So what do you think is the most popular, voted on by Winging It followers, which is a pretty dedicated sample group size?
If I was to guess, I would guess the red and white pinstripe uniform of Current. If you're asking me and my heart, it's the powder blues and the maroon. I love those uniforms. They're absolutely so clean. One of the best classic looks in the MLB.
So if you had to pick between Eagles Kelly green or Phillies powder blue, what are you picking?
Oh, Kelly green all day.
Yeah,
there was no hesitation. There was no hesitation.
No.
Yeah, and the audience was right there with you, E-Rock. It was 79% went with the Kelly green. Andrew felt that it was going to be a little bit closer, but no chance whatsoever. What an exciting time. The Kelly green's finally in here. Man, I see you in all of your videos dressed out in like the freshest Mitchell and Ness gear. Tell us a little about that like partnership. Do you just get your paycheck and go right to the store? How do you fill your wardrobe with so much Kelly green?
Well, first of all, that quest was just to keep up with Mr. Gail Saunders. I don't know if you know Gail from 4th and John. I used to be on that show. My man dresses fresh to death. So trying to keep up with him was just a struggle, just a straight up struggle. And then I got friendly with my man Josh, who's the store manager over there at the flagship store. You know, we do some content together. You know, I get some discounts. I'm not going to get into it, but I get some discounts. And
all about the perks.
I absolutely love rocking the Kelly green. I prefer wearing it. I know there's been an argument back and forth amongst the fan base of whether it would be a good idea for them to go to it on a permanent basis. I don't feel that way. That way. It's the midnight green. That's the Eagles green. That is what it is. That's what we won our Super Bowl on. But just it makes my heart so happy that the Kelly green is coming back. And they get to rock it. And for the time that I was working with the Eagles, I mean, this got brought up to Jeffrey Lurie by the marketing team every single year. Every single year, like, this isn't a new idea. They're like, you know what we should do? You know what would be great, guys? You know what we can make a lot of money on? What if we brought back – no, they've known about this for years, and it's always gotten shut down. I've been told straight up, this shit is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Just deal with it.
I got to be honest. I was helping with like an NFL Play 60 event, and I got to chat with Landon Dickerson for just like 2 minutes, and he broke. You know, he said that, you know, Jeffrey Lurie like really identifies with the midnight green. Like that was kind of when he
Yes.
took over the team. So I
Yes.
think that there's been a little bit of hesitation to do the Kelly Green because it's like, no, that's the old us. This is the new us. So
And when he bought the team in 1995, I mean, that was, if you think about, like, let's look at owners, or let's not, but let's think about owners across the NFL. Like, we are so absolutely fortunate to have an owner like Jeffrey Lurie. He bought the team. He turned it. I mean, Norman Brayman had it before. I mean, he was terrible. So one of the first things on the docket was, I'm going to take this team and I'm going to make it mine, which was switching the logo, switching the colors, and that was his. And from then on in, he built the NovaCare complex. He built that stadium. He did all Eagles Autism Foundation, all the Eagles Youth Partnership outreach. We are so fortunate to have an owner like Jeffrey Lurie to not only do great things with the team, but do great things in the community. And then just the ultimate was yeah, we're gonna fight the NFL and get this secondary helmet so we can bring back. This was 2 years in the works, 2 years in the works, and they finally got it done.
I know Ali's not too happy about. Well, it's not that you're not happy about it. You're just not excited about it, Ali. Is that right? Is that right?
Listen. I have come to it's like, it's like if you have an ugly kid, right? It's your kid at the end of the day. You gotta love it, because it's your kid. So I've
then you put a Kelly Green jersey on them and they make them more attractive. I understand.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Listen, and I've long maintained that I would never wear another man's name on my back, and it wasn't until Alex and I were at the Vikings game and I saw DeAndre Swift run on that long run, and then he scored the touchdown. Right before he scored, I looked at Alex. I said, Alex, I've had this belief that I would never wear another man's name on my back, but if DeAndre Swift scores here, I'm getting a DeAndre Swift jersey. And sure enough, that night, after I got back to my mom's place, because I was visiting, because for everyone who doesn't know, I'm from Minnesota, or I live in Minnesota, originally from Philly, I ordered a DeAndre Swift Kelly Green jersey. Because I got to love all of my kids, regardless of how ugly they are.
Well, welcome to the party, pal. Welcome to the party, pal. Welcome to the kids table.
Good to have you, Ali.
So, Iraq, I know that you do a lot with Philly sports trips.
Yes.
That's a really cool little venture you guys got going on there. The tailgates look absolutely wild. And, maybe to our listeners, talk a little bit about that. Just talking about like the in-person experience, seeing what you guys did down in Tampa. It was a freaking home game, man. Tell us a little about some of these trips and what you guys include in some of those packages.
Well, Vince, the man who Vince Rizzuto, the man who founded this company, reached out to me, and they were very small. There was Green Legion out there. There's fans of Philly out there. They're well known. Those were the two big players in it. And he reached out to me. He said, "Listen, man, I'm trying to do this, but I'm trying to do it very fan oriented, and I'm trying to bring the authentic Philly fan experience to each city that we go to, not only for the people that we're traveling with, but the fans that are there." So Eagles Nation is so passionate and so spread out. It's one of the most ravenous, craziest fan base. That's why you see all these stadium takeovers. So their business model was really not only traveling with people from Philadelphia to the other cities, but also giving a home to those displaced fans that maybe are looking for a tailgate or looking for just that taste of home. I'm sure you feel that way in Minnesota sometimes, right? You miss a little bit of home. And it was a family guy like me, and I was a little hesitant at first, but the more he kept talking, the more I realized like his and I ideals as far as throwing a party and representing the fan base aligned completely. We've become tremendous friends, and when we go out there, we authentically try to pick any parking lot, F lot, G lot, P lot, M&N lot, and just crane game a tailgate and pick it up and drop it wherever we are, and just invite all these fans. And it has resonated so much with the Eagles fans across the country. We want them to, when Philly Sports Trips comes to your town, when the Birds comes to your town, we want you to be with us, because we're going to give you E-Rock DJ. We're going to give you the Phillies. We're going to give you former Eagles players, and really try. We had Vince Papale. had David Akers down in Tampa. So we're really trying to act as a conduit to bring you closer to the game and close to the team as we're fortunate enough to be here in Philadelphia.
That's incredible.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I was gonna ask if you guys plan on being there when we're in Dallas in December.
So I had a rule too, Mr. Ali. I had a rule too that I've recently broken. And my rule was that I would never, ever, ever Jerry Jones like a dime. I'm not giving that scumbag a dime. They'll never. I don't care if the Eagles. I don't care if the NFC Championships game is there, and I have the opportunity to watch the Eagles go to the Super Bowl on in Dallas. I'm not giving it. My father's retiring. He's a retired New Jersey State Trooper, helicopter pilot. He was lead pilot for Merck. I'm sure I shouldn't be saying this out loud, but Airbus has a box there, and so they invited us down. So if it's on somebody else's dime, I'll go. I'll go.
All about the loopholes. All about the discounts and loopholes.
Yeah, man. You got. One hand washes the other. So I will be down there with Philly Sports Trips. I won't be DJing because I got to take care of mom and dad. But I'll be down there at the tailgate saying hello to everybody, chopping it up with all the Eagles fans, getting rowdy before we go into the hellhole, AT&T Stadium.
The perfect nickname.
I almost feel like you're making us jealous. So you know what? I think we should make a trip down there.
Yeah. Good thing we've already been talking about it. Good thing we've already been talking about it for a week. So we needed this kick in our butt. We'll definitely be down there, getting rowdy with you guys, having some fun.
Awesome.
We're certainly coming down for Dallas week. So that'll be a lot of fun. I do know that you're also a season ticket holder at the Link. Has this been a lifelong thing? Did you actually grow up a Dallas fan and convert? Like, give us the history of E-Rock and how you're connected to the Philadelphia Eagles.
So I live in sort of northern New Jersey, which makes people go, well, why aren't you a Giants fan? Why aren't you a Jets fan? And my grandparents grew up in Trenton, Ewing, right around you. So, I mean, they grew up there at a time when they could kind of like on a Sunday morning roll over and say, hey, you want to hit the game today? And drive down to Franklin Field and pay their 50 cents or whatever the hell it was back then to go get a ticket for the game. Yeah, things were much simpler back then.
Yeah.
and cheaper. And so he brainwashed, my mother, who in turn brainwashed her 4 boys. And so, some of my earliest memories with my parents and my grandparents and my uncle are, going down to Veteran Stadium and going to the games, and half the time watching what's happening on the field because we were in the 600 level, and then half the time turning around and looking at the fist fights that are happening in the 700 level. So yeah, we have 4 tickets in 225, 2 and 226, and then my old producer from the Eagles sells me like the bulk of the season down to 115. So that's a little social media cue. So if you see me on Instagram and I'm upper level, I'm in my seats. If I'm lower level, I'm in the Eagles section.
I feel like brainwash is a bit of a harsh term to say that you were brainwashed to be turning the Eagles.
No. I do the same thing to my kids.
No, but there should be a more positive connotation. Like brainwash is a bad thing. What you're doing is you're showing your kids the light. I need a better word than brainwash. You've been taught well, and you're leading your kids in the right direction. So to me, that's not brainwashing. That is just
good parenting.
That's good parenting. Exactly.
It just reminds me of that meme where from Interstellar where Matthew McConaughey is like in the bookcase and he's like, no. And it's like me watching my younger self pick the NFL team that I'm going to root for the rest of my life. But No! Hey, we don't have that problem.
Ali, I'm not even kidding. Less than a week ago, I watched that movie for the first time, and we didn't talk about that. So it's really bizarre that you just brought that movie up out of the blue. So I'm very familiar with the scene that you're talking about. Freaking crushed me. Anyway, E-Rock, I'm super interested to know, just kind of, obviously you're going to games at Veteran Stadium. Social media is not even a blip on the radar.
Thank God.
When did, just creating content and starting to gain a following, when did that all start to, come to be?
So I've had the enormous benefit of excellent timing. When I moved to Philadelphia in 2007, and it was a time in my life where I just moved to the city, and just decided, okay, I'm gonna figure out Philly and try to find I was in my 20s, try to discover myself a little bit, try to discover a new place a little bit, make new friends. And one of the things, YouTube was just popping off at the time, and I was kind of by myself. I was kind of alone, and so I decided, well, the one thing I love to do is talk about the Eagles, and I don't have anybody to really talk to right now because I don't really know anybody in the city. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab that camera and I'm going to buy a laptop and I'm going to buy some video editing software, because once I get an idea in my head, it just doesn't go away until it's expelled. And 90% of my ideas are absolute garbage or trash. This is the one that actually stuck. So I made a YouTube channel, and back then it was, I don't know, maybe me and 5 other guys talking about Eagles football. And so I hopped on right then and kind of grew my voice. And, that's the thing about podcasting or digital content. And anytime you put yourself in front of a microphone, put yourself in front of a camera, you're terrible at it at first. And then you just keep trucking along and you just keep hammering away and hammering away and hammering away and getting better and taking no shortcuts. And so the YouTube thing happened. 2 years later, I was picked up by the Eagles as an on-air talent. Did that for the last 3 years of Andy. Chip Kelly effed that all up. And
what
so
didn't he
I,
F up?
Yeah, well, that's
garbage.
one of the. He traded LaShawn.
Mm-hmm.
He cut Deshaun, and then he got rid of E-Rock, which thank you, Chip Kelly, jerk off.
And I didn't even know about that part, so now I hate him exponentially more.
Yeah, no, that was part of it, because what ended up happening was their media department, the Eagles media department, was huge. I mean, they were on 2 different TV stations. It was Eagles Television Network, Training Camp Live. They remember Training Camp Live? I mean, they used to broadcast all throughout training. So there was such a like, you could fit a lot of people in a lot of places. Then Chip Kelly came in and everything was secretive. Everything was, you can't show anything. You can't, no, we're not doing TV anymore. No, because then they're going to want to show plays, and I don't want to show my plays. I just want to run them really fast and think that that's going to revolutionize the game. So that was kind of the end of me over there, although I still have some wonderful connections over there. And then I just jumped on Twitter right when Twitter was popping off. I jumped on Instagram right when Instagram was. And so a lot of this, there's better YouTubers, better podcasters, there's better digital content creators. I just happened to jump on all those trains like early on and just kind of establish a name there. So I'm very fortunate with excellent timing.
I mean, I think it takes a little bit more than timing. You have to be likable. People have to want to continue to watch and not get tired of you. So again, you're using words like,
I do all right.
Well, E-Rock, if you'll indulge me, I want to ask you to take a trip down memory lane from when you first started and start talking about Eagles football, because we got a game this weekend, and I'd love to get your thoughts on our matchup with the Jets going up into that god-awful stadium.
Awful
good God.
Stadium. Worst stadium I've ever been in my life.
What are your
life?
It's just, I hate the field. I hate the artificial turf.
It's just
it just
gray.
Feels like...
No. Here's my beef with MetLife, E-Rock. I walk up to the stadium, and there's a sign here. It says New York's famous cheesesteaks. I almost turned around and walked out. That is not a claim to fame for New York. That is nothing. So already there, my first 30 seconds into the stadium was bad. Yeah. It's just gray. It's just concrete. It's cold. It's damp. It's awful. Maybe I'm spoiled because I sit in the club level in the Eagles, but man, there is nothing that is appealing about MetLife Stadium. And you have to the turf hurts people. It's already a liability for our team to go there. Yeah. And they share it with 2 teams from New York that play in New Jersey. It just, none of it makes sense to me, E-Rock.
Poor Aleks amongst the peasants who must sit in an old gray winter stadium.
Where's my wine? Can somebody get me back?
Yes.
I don't have a waiter here. Yeah, okay.
Rub my feet, please. A foot rub.
Listen, MetLife Stadium. I visited a lot of stadiums. I've been fortunate to visit quite a few stadiums, and albeit MetLife Stadium from the outside looks like a giant air conditioning unit. I don't know what the it looks like a car radiator. It does. It's terrible. Whoever the designer was of that, like, what in the entire hell were you? Why? Why?
Actually,
And who
I'm
said?
googling it right now. I'm googling it. It looks like his inspiration was a car radiator. Yeah, so you're right.
Okay, there you go. There you
He
go.
likes cars.
So I don't know how you sit around the boardroom and like they pitch you ideas because you're in sales. You know how it is. They pitch you ideas and you go, "Yeah, that's the one." So from the outside, the stadium is absolutely terrible. I gotta admit, from the inside, I kind of like it. It's very vertical. It's very Coliseum esque. So the upper levels are stacked right on top of the video boards are awesome. The turf sucks. I get it. Um, I don't mind MetLife at all. I tell you what, I do mind. I do mind going to Jets games because I live closer to MetLife Stadium than I do Lincoln Financial Field. So anytime the Eagles are playing the Giants, easy peasy, I'm there. Anytime the Eagles are playing the Jets, right up 78, I'm there. Um, Giants fans, I've never had a problem with Giants fans. I've never had them. I've never gotten into it with Giants fans. Jets fans, without fail, every time I go to an Eagles Jets game at MetLife Stadium, I almost get in a fist fight. And I guarantee you I'm almost going to get in a fist fight this Sunday. It's
That
just
makes no sense.
they're the worst because they're just angry and ornery
Yeah.
and just pissy and just why would you want to go to a Jets game? They're almost mad at the fact that they're even there watching this bullshit team. And they were all celebrating Aaron Rodgers. And listen, I feel kind of bad for them. Like, listen, they deserve something. But that's the most Jets thing to ever happen. That dude lasts
Yeah.
4 snaps and goes
Yep.
down. They never beat the Eagles in the history of their franchise before. They're certainly not going to do it Sunday. This is going to be one of those walk in the park, might leave midway through the fourth to beat traffic sort of games.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just like maybe they're bitter because we just have such a more beautiful shade of green than they've ever been able to to show. It just doesn't make any sense that you would go to a Giants game, a division rival, and
Yeah.
everything's fine, but then you go against a random team against like the Jets that literally are what Rich Kotite, is that all that we have in common? I'm not like what's the issue with Philly and the Jets? It's kind of
But
weird.
even the ticket people, like I like scanning the ticket or talking to people that work at MetLife Stadium, like I've said this to them, like why is this? And they just go, the freaking Jets fan. Like they know there's a difference between Giants and Jets fans, and they can't stand the Jets. So even the people that work there hate working Jets games because they're just terrible people.
Yeah,
It makes
and then
sense. When the Eagles were starred for a championship, we were pretty pissy to be around too. So I guess there's some kind of parallel there. Go
And
ahead,
what was Robert Saleh saying this week during his presser, talking about already complaining about the tush push and says that we're going to have to accept it. And instead of hurting him or tackling him, we're going to have to give him 11 kisses. What is all that about? They're just a grumpy, disgruntled fan base. I can't stand it.
That's their way of saying discreetly that we plan on tagging your quarterback, so don't run it. That's what they're saying. We plan if we can take a lick or a shot on the Jalen Hurts, we're gonna do it.
I'm afraid it's going to happen. I'm afraid it's going to happen this season.
Yeah, I mean they already took a shot at him in the preseason last year, right? There was that clip of
the Jets.
Sirianni yelling across the field saying "What the f,
Oh
Saleh?"
Yeah, no, that's like a late hit out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you say that eventually a team is going to get frustrated enough by getting their ass kicked that they're going to go for it, and somebody's going to take a cheap shot. I just think there's a lot more to the tush push right now or brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it. That even Sirianni, they lined up this week. They lined up, and the Rams called a timeout, and then they lined up for the push differently. And somebody asked him about that. Like you had a different personnel in there for that original before they called timeout, and Sirianni went like this. I don't know. I think you're going to see a couple times. I think you're going to see Jalen back off and throw a pass. I think you're going to see him pitch it somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually you might not see somebody else under center just to confuse the shit. They're gonna eventually this brotherly shove thing. Like teams are going to get so angry at it that they're going to have to alter it in some sort of way just to keep the defense honest. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That does make sense. What's your score prediction for this game?
A lot to a little.
Give us a number. Give us a number.
Let's go 42 to 13.
Cool. If you get that right, I'll send you a Mitchell Ness gift card.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now I got it at 42. Did I ever see that score before? I'm not even sure that one makes sense. But
I don't know. We saw a whole bunch of 5s and 2s this year too, so any score is really possible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right,
putting
Andrew,
up 40. I mean, putting up 42 on the Jets would be something. I think that would shut up a lot of people that still don't think that the Eagles are for real. But just like Iraq, I mean, this is a win. I think that this is a good game for our secondary, maybe to gain some confidence since we're going against arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL. Maybe other than Bryce Young. Bryce Young looks like crap.
Yeah, he does.
So what I'm really looking for, the Jets, they're pretty good against the pass. Actually, they're kind of middle tier against the pass, but they're 29th against the run. So I know that we had a lot of success through the air last week, but I'd like to see another maybe heavy dose of just feeding Swift. So get that run game going again. I see you all nodding. That was really cool. It made me feel really good about what I just said. And then
We coordinated
otherwise,
it just
yeah,
to make you feel better.
But yeah, it feels like a good get right game for the secondary. I think Zach Wilson's going to be under a lot of duress all game. I'm not going to go quite as high as 42 points, but I will go with Eagles. I'm going to go Eagles 27. Let's go 27-13.
27-13. I think the Jets have a really highly rated pass defense, and I think those stats are padded because Josh Allen pulled a Carson Wentz and had a Carson Wentz-like performance and threw, 4 or 5 picks or something insane like that. And then they beat up against the Broncos this last week, and Russell Wilson just cannot cook. I think every single significant stat the Jets show some sort of inclination that they might be decent. The only person we need to stop is running back was at Brees Hall and then Garrett Wilson. If we can stop those two guys, you put Slay on Garrett, our run defense is going to be fine. I think, and I'm going to say for the first time this season, I haven't said yet, this may be one of those games where the Jets don't even score a touchdown. It's going to be like 6-28 Philly. I think it's going to be 2 field goals. I don't think we're going to give them a chance. It's going to be a big day. And I think we're going to see Marcus Mariota in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be a lot to a little. Ali, what do you think? Oh yeah, go ahead, Iraq.
Go ahead, Iraq.
Well, I just I mentioned it was one of those beat traffic games, and I do think you'll see Mariota probably make an appearance in the fourth quarter. I do respect the Jets defense a lot. They got a lot of great talent on that defense. The defensive line is pretty nasty, and we can talk about them all day long. But when you talk about defensive lines, you talk about our defensive line, and I just think the Jets defense might be stingy at first, but they're going to have so much time on the field because that Jets offense is going to be going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That defensive, and you know what happens. I mean, we've seen it with our own defense sometimes under the last couple of years of Doug, right, where it was like the offense was just going 3 and out, and Fletcher Cox is flipping on the sidelines or in the locker room because he's like, "You guys are killing us here. We can't be out there." Yeah, look at the time of possession against a good team. Look at the time of possession against the Rams. That defense was out of gas fourth quarter. There's no way Zach Wilson, Marcy from Married with Children, is going to stand back there and get first down after first down. And, it's going to be 3 and out, 3 and out. So, again, that Jets defense might be stingy at first. They're going to get real tired real quick, especially if the Eagles decide they want to release the dogs up front and start running the ball and just jamming it down their throat and imposing their will. That's just a will breaker. Our offensive line and defensive lines just break your will before you even have a chance to know what happened to you.
Trenches, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the trenches.
No, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think the key to this game, I think the key to us winning this game is going to be on our offensive play calling because we do like to get cute sometimes by, throwing 18 passes in a row and not running the ball when we should. Andrew, I appreciate the stat you pulled up. We're second in rush yards per game. The Jets are 29th in their rush defense. We're 4th in our yards before contact in rushing, and the Jets are 26th, right? So this is, in my mind, an easy handed to DeAndre Swift game. My score prediction at this point in the week, because we do hear of injury reports of Slay being added to the injury report. I think Job would be the guy who'd replace him, but let's not think about nightmarish situations like that. I do think that the majority of this game, the Jets will have not scored a point, and I think they're going to rally back in the fourth quarter to score 2 meaningless touchdowns. My score prediction for this game is 31 Eagles, Jets 14.
Okay. Yeah, I respect it. All right, guys, let's give our swinging it picks for the week, and then we will wrap up today's episode. Andrew, explain it to us.
Swinging it. Underdog picks for the week.
All right, another fun week of swinging for the fences here, everyone. Right now, by the way, we have runners on the corners. Bryson Stott is up with 2 outs. The game is still 0-0. Anyway, by the time you listen tomorrow, none of this will matter. So how does this game work? Just a quick recap. We're all going to pick our favorite underdog picks of the week. If our pick wins the game, we will receive the number of points that team is receiving in the spread. So quick score recap. I think, Alex, you were the only one to win last week. You took the Jacksonville Jaguars, which they won. And even though it was a home game for the Bills, which is kind of BS, the Jacksonville Jaguars won in their second home. You get 5.5 points. So now Ali is still in the lead with 15. Alex has 14. The audience has 8.5. So, Erock, you're going to have to step up here. And I have 2. So, right. That number hasn't changed in a while. So, whatever. New week. Screw it. All right. Erock. So, you got a lot of pressure on you right now, I know. Who is your underdog pick of the week?
Yeah, well, it's going to unfortunately be the Washington The Washington, come on, the Commander, the Commanders. What is it? 2 points
2.5
against Atlanta. Yeah, 2.5 against Atlanta. I'd probably be picking Washington anyway. So of all the underdogs, I think that are out there, I think your safest bet is Washington.
Yeah.
I've taken Washington before, and I did not win, so I hope you have better luck than I did. I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're at home against the Detroit Lions. I know a lot of us love the Lions, love what we're seeing. But you know what? I think Tampa Bay's coming off of a bye, some fresh bodies. They're getting 3 at home. Give me the Bucs. Give me the Bucs +3.
Cool. I am going to go with, man, this team is just falling to pieces. I'm still surprised they're a favored and they're even away. The Minnesota Vikings are just in straight free fall mode. They are a 3-point favorite against who I think is going to win, the Chicago Bears, who actually put on a pretty impressive performance last week. I think Justin Fields is starting to figure it out. The offense is starting to come down. And lucky for me, I got DJ Moore in fantasy. So it all works out for me. I'm going to be rooting for the Chicago Bears, even though I absolutely hate this Jalen versus Justin Fields freaking drama we had in the offseason, and it just did not really pan out too well for Justin. Sucks to suck. But yeah, give me the Bears on this one. Ali, take us home and then exit the show.
You know, this is a tough one. Heavy lies the crown. The guy at the top always picks last, and you guys had such pretty solid underdog picks. You know,
just so you know, Iraq, Ali picked the Cardinals to beat Dallas, which is why he got so many points.
Oh, wow!
He gets 1 week. He gets 1 week where he does something really good, and he's coming in here talking all cocky. Don't let him fool you.
Well, now he just picks the Cardinals every week.
Yeah, it's awful.
Blind squirrel that found the nut.
Yeah.
Now saying heavy is the head that wears the crown. I see what's going on.
It is.
I see what's going on here.
You got me. You got me. You know, this is going to be another week where I pick something that is so out of the blue, out of left field. You wonder if it's even going to happen. This is really trying to manifest it happening, but I'm picking the Cleveland Browns over the San Francisco 49ers. They are
no Watson.
9.5 point, you know?
You didn't know that. I know you didn't know that.
There's no way you knew that.
Well,
watch it happen. It's going to happen anyway now.
You know, now that you said it, it's going to happen. They don't have Mr. Would you do it for $40? So,
would you do it?
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, put me down for the Cleveland Browns, even after I know that Watson isn't playing. I'll still take those odds. E-Rock, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. I've had a ton of fun.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
No, just hearing your story, I can't wait to get to Dallas and hang out with you, in our natural setting where we are invading another stadium and just giving him hell in the process. No, I'm really excited for this game. To all of our listeners out there, this is going to be, hopefully we come out of this week at 6-0, right before the vaunted Miami Dolphins offense next week. So we are excited to have you on, E-Rock. We're excited to go out and beat the New York Jets and make it 0-13 in their lifetime, and we're excited to be undefeated coming out of Sunday. So,
well, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been awesome. Thank you.
And thanks for joining us. This is Ali, Andrew, Aleks, and E-Rock, episode 62, signing off. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.